Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is Todd coming to you again from the front porch. It's raining, been raining on and off all day, and I looked at the radar and we're in it for a while, so it's kind of messing me up tinkering around outside. So guess what, we're going to review some beer and sit under the front porch, because front porch is always covered. It's actually picked up a bit in the last little bit, enough to, I guess, either the guy finished his yard work, or you know, the rain ran him inside, but he's been over there hard at it with the lawnmower and the weed eater, just right out in the rain. Do what, you know, if your yard needs it, you know, get out there and do it. Now, what are we going to do today? This is the North Coast Brewing's old number 38 stout. Looked it up on the website, because I'm sure the ABV's on that bottle somewhere, but I'll be damned if I could find it. I couldn't find it anywhere on there. 5.3%. It is, as they put it, it is a firm-bodied stout with the toasted character and coffee notes of dark malts and roasted barley. Right in my wheelhouse, children. Everybody that knows me knows I love porters and stouts. That's my favorite style, particularly milk stouts. You know, like left hand milk stouts, an old favorite of mine. It's getting more and more difficult to find it. I mean, it's not difficult to find left hand. I mean, I can buy it here in town, but the one place that's had it lately, it's gone from, you know, something I can keep in the fridge to a treat. You know, it's at $15 a 6-pack. That's a bit outlandish, you know. I mean, craft beer is always pricier, but you know, I got a dollar figure that I live with. Now I got my trusty homemade bottle opener. Made that out of a piece of fat lighter and a little piece of, if you know what fat lighter is. People way up in the northeast, I think they call it fat wood, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, I made a boatload of openers out of fat over a period of a few years, and that one I liked, so I kept it. I usually give them to friends. So, here we go. Now, I have high hopes for this one, because stouts in general are harder and harder to get. You know, the world's gone sours, and I mean, IPAs took over a few years ago, and now it's the sours and seltzers and all that sort of thing. And stouts are, you know, for us old farts, we, you know, just left behind in the world. And now this is, according to the website, this is a Dublin Dry style, which means it should be Guinness-like. And as much as I love stouts, I'm not the biggest Guinness fan in the world. I will order them when I'm out. I'm not going to buy them in a bottle. I don't care for nitro push stuff in the can or in the bottle. Even left-hand milk stout, it's hard to find the CO2 version. It's more and more of the nitro pushed with the widget. And it just, if you go in a pub and barkeep knows how to pull one, great. But it just doesn't, it's just not the same out of a can. I don't like to say that, but it's just the way it is. I gotta tell you, they nailed it. If they were looking to brew a dry Guinness style Dublin style stout, they drilled it. That's it. I mean, that's good. It's really good. Now, and at 5.3%, you know, you could enjoy this kind of thing. You can sit down with friends, and this is not big and enormous and heavy. You know, man, when the weather's, let's just say, comfortably cool, this would be a good option. And I got this from my good buddy Earl, and he bought it local. So I gotta get with him, figure out and see if he bought it at Cottage Hill Package or if he found it at Rouse's. but that's enjoyable. It is, man, that was a pretty pickup just went by. Really nice blue and gray. That's a good looking truck. That's a good looking truck. Now, it's a stout. It's a dry stout, so it's a little flinty. You can pick up the roasted, the dark malts, and it's really faint on the coffee and caramel notes. They're super faint. It's a little hoppy on the finish, but I always expect that anytime you're dealing with a brewery that's out in California. It's just something that they feel like they have to do on the West Coast. Fortunately, they've toned it down a bit with a lot of things. There was a period of time that I'm sure anybody watching this channel can remember when it was just a contest. How much bittering, how high in the IBUs can we get it before somebody just finally says, you know what, this is not a good plan. This one just isn't working. I think they found it, and they dropped it a step back from there, because a lot of stuff coming out of California is not as just atrociously hopped as it was there for a period of time. I mean, look, it didn't matter there's a couple of breweries in particular, not going to name them by name and trash them on here, even though, it's not like I have a huge channel and they're ever going to hear or care. I'm just not going to do it. But, you go in there and you see that brewery name and it'll say, traditional porter. And it's just an IPA disguised as a porter, You buy a stout from them, it's a freaking IPA disguised as a stout. It's almost like they were just brewing a really heavily hopped IPA and dropping some food coloring in it, and calling it a porter or a stout. It was just bad. It got to the point where there was a couple of breweries from the West Coast. I'm just not even, now I will say that their Oktoberfest, they didn't screw that up. But if everything else there for a number of years was just, it was rough. Now my buddy John, even during that time, they never did find the limit on hops for him. They said it just wasn't there. If you ever go to Beer Advocate and you see these guys that'll, give their tasting notes on something like, Hopsecutioner or some other, crazily heavily hopped beer. They're the ones that call it cloyingly sweet. Far too sweet for my palate, And anybody else on the planet, they're tongue splitting from the hops. That's my buddy John. But now I've vented long enough and not talked about this particular beer. But this is really well done. Now they did another one, Old Rasputin. I'll link that. That's an imperial. Now it's a really good imperial stout. But guess what? It's hopped pretty heavily right up to the point where if they'd gone any heavier with it, then I might, be turned off by it, because, imperial stouts are already big. They're already enormous enough. If you're gonna just toss them, if you're really gonna hammer them with hops, man, it's just gonna get really difficult. Now these guys stayed pretty true to the style as far as the hop presence in this. It's just a little bit more bitter on the finish than a really traditional Dublin style might be. That's my opinion. Your mileage may vary and all that good stuff, but this is a nice dry stout. This is really good. It's really well done. And if they have it at Rouse's, where I buy 98% of the beer that I buy, because they have a great selection, even the local beer stores, that tout, oh, we got all, they're really not even any better than Rouse's. And it's right by work. So I can just, I pull out of the, make a roundabout, and then ka-ding, in the parking lot at Rouse's, run in, get what I need, and come home. And if I need, milk, bread, eggs, that kind of silliness along with it, I'll always check in with Mrs. Sipper and see if she needs me to pick up anything, because I'm getting beer anyway, and that's usually at the end of the week. So that it's just a great store. They have a great build your own 6-pack section. Man, it has been raining for 2 weeks. I don't know where everybody else is, but my goodness. We could live without it for a little while. Yeah. Now, fortunately, Earl gave me a pair of these, so I got another that I can enjoy. Not going to do it today. I'll probably enjoy another something else today. I don't know what, because the old beer fridge, she's pretty loaded up at the moment. My buddy Jamie over in Slidell and Keith, they hooked me up with a couple of things. My buddy John, he gave me some stuff, and I bought some stuff. So I'm in good shape on beer to review for a little while. I'm also in really good shape on THC material for a little bit. I've ordered some things. I've had a couple other companies reach out and want to send me some stuff. Always shocking to me when they do that. So I've got plenty of those coming up, and I just got to carve out the time to sit down and get them done. And it's not, honest to God, I just did a review yesterday, and I'll link that in case you want to watch it. I talked about it during that review. Man, the second half of that review was worst I ever did. Worst damn thing. That one hit me like an absolute, it's like a truck. I didn't check, and I still hadn't thought about checking to see if that was live resin or something, because, man. Anyway, I don't know what the hell was I even talking about? You'd think I was doing a THC review now. So I've got plenty of stuff to review. What I was trying to say was, we're really busy at work. I'm snowed under because we've got my executive director is retiring, and wants to leave a mark, as a lot of people in that position are want to do. So we've got a lot of beautification projects, some improvements to do, and I got to tell you, I'm doing some things that I have been pining to get done out there, that I have been the loudest complainer about needing to get a couple of these things done and getting funding for it. Well, we got it, and I'm tickled pink to be doing them, so don't get me wrong. But it's a lot. It's a lot of work, and when I come home, look, guy, I'm old. I'm old as hell. It's hot. I'm outside, and if I'm not outside, I'm in my shop out there, and it has no air, So I get home, I'm just spent, and what I don't want to do is sit down in front of this camera, and just be obvious that this is not what I want to be doing. I really enjoy doing these. I'm going to tell you right now, if I was doing a bunch of these when I was begging to get 100 subscribers by the end of the year, and then the whole Dr. Dank thing happened, and I got a lot of new subscribers, and my viewership's up a bunch because of that, and I'm more than thankful for it, and thankful for everybody that has stuck around and still tunes in for these things. So You know, I don't want to just sit down and act like I'm just doing it for the sake of doing it, because I really do enjoy it, and I want that to come across on the videos. So there you go. Now I'm looking at, now I use my phone to do these. I don't have a camera. I do have a button mic, and guess what? We'll talk about it hopefully, but at the next review. Ordered some new stuff. I'm giddy. Anyway, I'm looking at it. It's at 16. It's at 16 minutes for a dry stout review. Anyway, so I'm gonna wrap this thing up. Please like and subscribe. I keep saying it, but I never do. I need to learn how to do that sort of thing closer to the beginning. You know, I know that because I mean, I look at the analytics. Not everybody watches all 16 minutes of these damn things. Some of you do, and I appreciate that, but most don't. And as always, please enjoy those adult malted beverages responsibly.